Thanks for listening to this episode of the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show. And as always, remember to create your own happiness because happiness is, in fact, a choice. If you've enjoyed listening to this episode, please share this podcast with your friends and colleagues. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you'll get notified whenever I drop a new episode.
All right. Welcome. I am so excited to see each and every one of y'all today. When I tell you we have a very special guest today on today's show. Our topic for today is talk to me and not at me. Communication for work and life. And I know that, every single week we bring shows to you that I think are absolutely what we need in our lifetime today. And so today is no different than any other day. I'm super excited to have my guest, my friend, my colleague to be joining us for the show today to actually give us some pointers on how to really communicate at work and in life. And so we're going to be coming right back to you right after this. Hey, friend.
Hey, how are you?
Y'all, I want to introduce y'all to my friend. And like I said, my colleague, Dr. Gail Crowder. She is a sought after, y'all. When I tell you sought after relationship expert and a sex expert, right? So some of y'all might be like, woo, this is going to get spicy today. So I am so happy that you are here on the show with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Kiki. And you don't understand, it's a blessing to be a part of your show. That opening was hot. I have to tell you, it's hot. It is hot. Hey. Thank you. Because I do what I love. I really do what I love every single day.
Yes, you absolutely do. And so when I thought about this topic, because communication has been a theme, right? It's been a real theme in all of my keynote presentations that I've been doing and just being out and about. And I'm like, what better person to talk about communication than my friend, Dr. Gail Crowder, because you do this every single day. So I would love for you to kind of share a little bit about yourself and your background and the work that you do with everybody.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, I am a certified marriage and life coach. I'm also a licensed sexologist, but I call myself a master sex expert because that is really what I have coined myself as. But really, when it comes to communication, we communicate every single day in every area of our lives, right? Whether it's verbal or non-communication, we're doing it all the time, right? We're doing it in the grocery stores. We're doing it when we're sitting in traffic. We're doing it in every area of our life. And so I am dedicated to really help people develop healthy relationships and communication skills in every area of their lives. And so I love what I do every single day. So like I said, I really resonated with your opening today.
Yeah, no, I love that because what people might not know about you is that you really help people, period, right? Mm-hmm. But when it comes to relationships, whether it is, a work relationship or marriage relationship, you really dig in there and you help people. And I've seen you do it time and year after year. You help people save their marriages. And I think that a lot of times people don't really understand that who you are at home, you bring that to work, right? You bring that to the work. So I just want to say for all of you out there, if you are joining us live, go ahead and put your name in the chat and tell us where you are calling or listening in from. We'd love to, give you a shout out. So I want to kind of start off with just asking you, tell us what your biggest strength is, AKA your superpower.
My superpower is really helping people understand the part that they play in a relationship. whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's with your girlfriends, whether it's with your children, really how to develop a healthy relationship. And really, it all starts with yourself. A lot of
Mm.
times we're looking for people and things to fill voids, right? But if you learn to develop a healthy relationship with yourself from the inside out, not the outside in, but from the inside out, you will be able to develop healthy relationships in every area of your life.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And you know, one of my superpowers is zest. And so, baby, I always say, "Babe, I'm gonna show up zesty, honey," because
And you do in every area of your life, but you know who you are from the inside out,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
many of us focus on the outside, and that's the
Mhm.
reason why we show up in our lives and we're very superficial, and we allow things and we say things that we really have not developed for ourselves, or we take on other people's personas. We do
Mhm.
so many things because we don't understand what's going on internally. A lot of us don't know our needs, our wants, and our desires,
Mhm.
right? And so we look for people to fill those things. And I'm talking from experience because I used to be her, right? But when
Mhm.
I decided that I wanted to love myself and really not take on my titles, but
Oh,
really understand who Gail is from the inside out, then I'm able to make better choices, and I'm able to be a better mom, a better wife, a better friend, a better coworker, all of those things when I show up in my different areas of my life, because they're not
yeah.
who I am.
Yeah, I love that. I love it because sometimes we have to realize who we really are to be better in all those areas of our life. I love that. So
Mhm.
we titled today's show "Talk to Me, Not at Me," right?
Mhm.
Talk to
Mhm.
me, not at me. What does that mean to you?
So when you are talking to someone, when you're talking at someone, you're listening to respond, right?
Mhm.
Because they're talking, that they're talking, and you're listening. You're talking at them to respond, right? You're working on to respond, so you're not really processing. But when you're talking to someone, you're actually listening to understand, right? It's a difference. It's a difference when I am talking, like right now, people are listening to glean from what I have to say. But if I am just talking at someone, that means I'm saying, okay, she said this, so I can say this. She said this, I'm going to say this. So I'm really not listening to really understand what the person's perspective is, their point of view. And sometimes when you're listening to understand, you don't even need to respond because you've gotten what that person is trying to deliver to you.
But what if I really got, what if I just got this itch, right? Because here, listen, I'm married 19 years as of this year, right? You've been married for how long? I
I
mean,
will be married 35 years in
oh,
July the 20th, most of my life. And I had to learn to listen to understand and not always to respond.
how do
And
you
so
do
that's
that
the
though?
reason why, because my husband said, Gail, you always are talking at me and not talking to me.
I get it because I'm the same way, right? You know, I know you talk a lot about sometimes we just need to be quiet,
Yes.
right? Especially in our intimate relationships. But how do you do that, right? How do you talk to someone and not at someone when you are not necessarily feeling heard?
Well, this principle applies in the workplace. It applies with our children. It applies with our girlfriend, and definitely applies in our marriages and in our relationships. And so, it's a discipline that
Hmm.
you have to develop. And especially for most women who are very talkative, right? And it starts when we're young, right? If you put, your baby and another little boy together, she's going to out talk him 1,000 ways, right? So I always talk when I'm talking to couples or individuals or even leaders in their organizations. I try to tell them that your colleagues, your even though you might be in the supervisor or the boss or the lead of the organization or whatever your title is that the people that work up under you have a voice, they have opinion, and they sometimes you need to just be quiet and listen because they're the ones who are doing the day-to-day work that you're not, right? Yeah. And so when I was managing sales teams, I would have a day once a month where my employees could just come in and literally just tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly without any filters, without being, worried if I was going to say anything negative or if their job was in jeopardy. And I learned so much, right, about what they were dealing with out in the field, as a sales force. Yeah. And so I also had to realize that when I brought, all my work home, that I needed to shift and I needed to listen to what my husband had to say, because I am a very strong woman, very opinionated, very educated, and all of those things. But I had to realize that my husband was the head of my household. So I needed to be in that position where he was in the authoritative. I can't even talk today.
Authoritative.
He was an authority over me in my house, right? And it was very, very difficult. So what I had to learn to say is, Gail, do you have to say what you're about to say right now? Gail, is what you're about to say, are you going to have to apologize for later?
Okay.
Gail, is what you're about to say, would you want said back to you? And those are the three things that I implement in every area of my life.
You getting into it. And I think that's so important. So you ask yourself before you say something, whether you're basically going to regret saying the thing that wow. Okay. So, but here's the thing. I think it takes a lot of self-awareness to be able to have that conversation first with yourself, right? I think it takes a lot of self-regulation and emotional regulation to not speak automatically and react automatically based off of things that are happening in all of our relationships. But I also think it takes a lot of self-awareness to do that as well. What was the journey?
It's a learned skill. It was not something that just automatically happened. And do I miss it? Absolutely. I miss it sometimes with the people that I have the pleasure of working along with me as my team members. But I also have to exercise that sometimes with my children, right? Because I have to realize that they have a voice.
Yes.
They're adults and they need to be able to express themselves as well. And so sometimes I have to literally sit on my hands because I'm very expressive with my hands. So I have to sit on my hands and I have to say, Gail, do you have to say what you're about to say right now? And it literally goes in my head, right? Because I used to be in everything that came to my brain, I would say out of my mouth, whether it was to my employees, whether it was to my boss, whether it's to my girlfriends. So I had to learn that skill. And every day I have to exercise it in some form or fashion, whether I'm in Walmart, everybody knows I love Walmart, wherever I am, when I see things that are going on that bother me or I have an opinion about, I have to think about it. So that is part of effective communication in every area of my life.
Right. So I had someone reach out and they have a situation where they are at work and they're the boss, right? They're the manager, and they have an employee who every time they tell the employee what to do, right? And they said that they tell the employee what to do. They're not being mean or malicious or anything like that. That the employee always gets an attitude and is always very defiant and is, their tone is very rough when they reply, and so this person can't get the employee, and they can't get their communication together so that they can get on the right page with this employee. How would you coach this employee? Her name is Catherine, right?
Okay.
How would you coach Catherine to be able to handle her employee that she just can't seem to break through? And she's saying that she's tried everything that she knows how to do to break through, but it's just still not happening. How would you coach her?
Well, for one, I just from what the scenario that you have given me, it sounds like the employee has some issues that has nothing to do with job related to me, right? It could be that they have a situation going on in their personal life and they're not able to separate the two. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing that I would tell the supervisor, Kathleen, to really say, okay, since we cannot have verbal communication, let's try to have written communication. Okay.
Okay.
And start with sending an email. Okay, this is the situation that this is what I need from you today. Please respond to tell me, A, if you can execute this, B, if you can't, when will you be able to do it? And then so on and so on. So that way it would take off the pressure of her having to engage with an employee that is being disrespectful, right? So try it that way first. And I'm not saying that you will never be able to have a conversation with that employee, but if that employee continues to have a negative vibe towards you, it could be that, for one, maybe they wanted that position. It could be so many different things, and you will never be able to get it out of there. Now, if the written communication does not work, then you might need to bring a third party in, like a human resource director or whatever, to really be that mediation between you and that employee. Because again, you're going to have to be able to engage verbally, but if it's not working at this point in time, try written, so that way you can check that off your list and not feel like, okay, I just can't, I just need to throw up my hands, I can't talk to this person. So at least when you go and get that mediation, you will be able to tell whoever the third party is, I tried verbally, it did not work. Here's our communication written, and it still has not worked. So I need someone to be that second, the buffer between her and I. So that would be the thing that I would tell someone right away. Yes.
I love that. I do. Hey, Jordan, thanks for joining the show today. I love that, because what we don't realize a lot of times is that written is a form of communication. And I can remember, back when I used to love for my husband to write, me letters and stuff like that. And me write him letters. And I've kind of gotten out of the practice of that. And I think I need to do that. But that also works even in the workplace, because one of the things I always talked about in a lot of my keynotes and stuff is that relationships matter over everything. So what I would say, Catherine, is that somehow see if you can begin building a relationship with your employee, right? Because here's the thing, like, I love people who I kind of know, right? Like, me and you, we've been friends for years, a long time, right? Over a decade. Yeah. And we love each other because we know each other, right? And any new people who come into my relationship, into my world, what I'm trying to do is learn them, get to know them, because when you know somebody, especially even on a personal level, then you kind of can relate to them, and then you can kind of have, build that relationship so that you can go further in the organization.
Absolutely. And the thing is that a lot of times when we get in leadership positions, people don't see us as being human. And so you have to create that, I'm open, even though I'm your supervisor, and even though we have to run a business or organization, I still am human, right? And so you have to allow them to see that you laugh, you cry, and allow your employees to be able to engage with you that way. Not in a
Yes.
disrespectful way, but
Yeah.
also allow them to. That's the reason why I created, when I was running a sales team, where they could come in and tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly, and not be judged. And I would let them know I understand, because I used to, have to go out and pound the pavement, and I used to whatever. And then I would, segment myself where I would actually go out with them and sell with them, because that was something that brought me joy. And it also allowed me to see what was going on, and not just be sitting behind a desk. Because sometimes when you do elevate to those things, you forget that it's a lot of things that are going on with your employees that you are shielded from now, because you are the supervisor, you are the manager, and all of those kind of things. So you have
That's
to
why
make
I love
yourself
that
human in the
show.
workplace. You have to make yourself human in the workplace.
You have to, and I say that all the time to all the leaders that I talk with, and I think their fear is sharing too much, and I kind of share a lot from the stage, but I think they're like, oh my God, I don't know what to share. I think people are going to use that against me. But as a matter of fact, what I found is that they use it for you. Right? Like,
They
not
do.
against you, they use it for you.
For you.
And now they're like more likely to do, to do or work harder and be more productive in their own job, because they're like, oh, the person who I'm doing this for is appreciative, and I like
and
that
has
person.
been where I am, and has the
Mhm.
same struggles that I do. If I'm struggling and, had a bad day coming to work because, my child was sick, or I had a bad day because me and my husband are not communicating, or whatever that is, it's okay to be human at work. It's
Oh my God.
okay to communicate your failures at work. Because again, like you said, that's when you are building a team, you're building relationships, and
Mhm.
those people will say, I got you today. Just go be in your
Mhm.
office. I have you today. But when you're always in your office and you don't engage, they feel that you're not part of the team. And
Absolutely.
therefore, they just feel like they're working for you and you're not part of the team. So you have
Right.
to be able to communicate your needs, your wants, and your desires. And it's okay. It is
Mhm. I love that.
okay.
But
You don't have to wear the title and not be human.
I love that. That's why I love the show Undercover Boss. Because
Yes. Oh my God.
I'm always crying at the end of Undercover Boss.
Me
I'm like,
too.
oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
oh my God, me too. I'm so like that, because I
You
love to
know,
see that those people get a chance, and then they go and make the changes necessary, because
Mhm.
they were not aware. They were
Yes.
not aware. And they also became human to them, people who are doing the day to day that make you thrive and look good, right? And so you have to be
Exactly. I
vulnerable in
love
front of whatever you're doing. And that's why I love when I hear you speak, because you tell your story about your mom and how you
it.
overcame all of those obstacles, and that it's possible. And yes, so people are able to relate to you more. You're like, if she can do it, I definitely can. I don't
That's what
have
I
to
want
stay
people to
here.
know.
And I used to tell my employees all the times, I'm going to train you so you can take my job. Because if I don't do it well enough, I'm going to be stuck and I want to go higher. Right?
I love
It's
it. I
okay.
love it. I love it. I love it. So, because our show goes so fast, we could talk, I don't know, for days and days and days on this subject. But I do want to ask this question before it's time for us to hop off here. Let's talk about the overlap between communication at home and at work. Right? Let's talk about that intersection between how you are at home and how you are at work. What
You
does
have
that
to
look
make a transition. I don't
like?
care if you are just an employee or you are a supervisor. You have to make the transition, because people at home don't care about your titles. They don't care about your position. They don't care about any of those things. They want you to bring love, joy, and be your authentic self at home. Right.
Mhm.
And it's hard. And it's just like switching hats. And so many, I know executive women find it very hard to, because you have to compete in the workplace, and, and be hard and all of those kind of things. But when you get home, your family wants a mom. Your
Mm.
husband wants a soft wife. You don't need to tell him what to do because you're not his boss, right? You're not your children's boss. You're not your girlfriend's boss. So you have to make that shift. And I always say to make that shift, you need to be in a space where you literally peel off. And I teach a lot of executive women, when you get home, don't go directly to cooking or into a different mode. Change clothes. And
Ooh.
change clothes.
What?
Change
Okay.
clothes
Let's talk
into
about this.
something. No, seriously, change clothes into something that's more comfortable. Because, when you go to work, you have to look a certain way, right? Mostly in a professional attire. And so you act that way, right? But when you want to go to the beach, you're not mostly I don't know. I've never seen anybody on the beach in a whole suit, right? When you go to the beach, you have your shades on, your flip-flops on, you have your, swimwear on. So you're more relaxed. So change clothes so it will change and you will understand you're in a different environment.
I'm gonna do that. So, okay, so what do you say for us who work from home? Because half of the country is still working from home. So how would you? I mean, but we have offices. So this is my lovely, beautiful office.
Your office is amazing and gorgeous.
Thank you. So would I just get off, like have a stopping point, get off, go up, change clothes, and
absolutely
just
change clothes and get into your regular thing that you would hang out with your kids and Jamil and just be a regular person, because literally when you change clothes, right?
Yes.
It's just like when you're going from corporate to a ball, right? You're going to change clothes. So when you're in that ball gown, you carry yourself different than you do in a pantsuit. It's the same thing. You just switch those, and I'm telling you, you will switch how you behave when you come home.
Because thank you, Dr. Stacey Jones, for being here. She says she does that and she do it working from home. Yes. I'm about to do this because I'll leave out of the house to go get the kids and I'll still have on, this and stuff, but I'm pretty much quote unquote off. If there was a thing,
but you're still in your work attire, and like yourself, I work from home as well. But when I get ready to go on my date with you, I switch clothes. I change clothes. Wow. Because I want to look a little more sexier or something like that. So I change clothes, at least my top. If I have on jeans, I'll change my top or something like that, because it's like a switch. I'm no longer dealing with my clients. I am now Gil's wife, his girl, all of those kind of things. And so that is a quick way that I could tell your audience to switch clothes.
I'm loving this. I hope y'all are listening. So we all about to start changing clothes before once we get off of work, right, and get more comfortable. And so what you're saying is that there is a shift that you need to make when you're coming home from work or when you're switching over your day. Are some of the same tools that you actually use in your job, or some of those same communication tools prevalent at home, or are the tools that we have in terms of communication, are they also separate?
Well, the thing is that at home, I really would love and it's hard for you not to talk at anybody that you talk to them. Right. And let me just give you 4 things that every conversation should have. It should have one topic, and we're bad at it as women. One topic. It should have
I'll change the topic in a minute.
Yes, but one topic.
Okay.
Listening, response, resolution, or ending. And if you can remember those things, especially when you're dealing with men, whether you're in the workplace or not, because men process information totally different than we as women do, right? And that's why you said, I can switch topics and you will follow with me as a woman, but men, you get that. Are you kidding me? Like, you was just over here and now you're over here, because they're wired very different. So make sure that you operate, especially when you're dealing with men, with those 4 principles: a topic, listening, response, resolution, or ending.
I love that. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it from the expert. And so Well, as we close, I would love for you to share with everybody what you got going on, how they can actually get in touch with you, because you really do. You're one of the most popular, phenomenal coaches that I know. If y'all are not aware, she has amassed over 120 something thousand people on TikTok, and you're revving towards 10,000 plus subscribers on YouTube, and so your message absolutely resonates with so many people out in the world. And so share with them how they can get in contact with you and potentially work with you as a coach.
Well, on all my social media platforms, you can just reach me at Gail Crowder. That my website is gailcrowder.com. On YouTube is Gail Crowder. On Facebook, on all my social media platforms, if you just type in Gail Crowder, you can find me there. As far as what I have coming up, I have tons of workshops that I do every other month for people just in the relationship space. So if you go to gailcrowder.com and click on attend, you will be able to see all the workshops that I have coming up. I do a amazing conference every single year at the beginning of the year. And so in January 20th and 21st, it will be in Baltimore. It's called Bringing Sexy Back to the Marriage, and it's for married and engaged women. And so you can also go on my website and learn more about that. And again, Kiki, thank you so much for allowing me on your show. This was absolutely amazing. It went so fast.
It went so fast. It always does. I always tell everyone, like, the show goes fast. And so we get into some juicy stuff. But I want to thank you so much for being here and sharing all your tips and wisdom and nuggets on really talking to me and not at me, communication for work and for life. And if you've all enjoyed today's episode, please go ahead and share it with a friend or a colleague, because I'm sure there's something that they need to know. And as always, I want you to go out there and create your own happiness, because what do we say? Happiness is a choice. All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.